Live. Hello, everyone. Hello, Christian. So glad to have you back here on the channel, and we've got lots to share with you guys today. It's going to be a fun discussion, as always, I am sure. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jake, or Jacob, and I am a hypnotherapist. I'm also a quantum guide, a healer. I take people through hypnosis experiences, exploring through time, as well as through dimensions. And it is really fascinating work. So definitely interested to share all of this stuff with you guys today, because we'll be diving more into the session that Christian and I had together, his experiences, his past life, and all that. But before we get into that, Christian, you want to introduce yourself and share anything you'd like?
My name is Chris. Was born in Bogota, Colombia, where I'm at right now. I'm a tarot reader, and right now, the latest thing I've been doing is I've been taking Julie and Sophie's third level of tarot course, which is focusing on the zodiac spread. So I recommend that. It's actually one of our soul family members, Emma, is in the course with me. So if she's in the chat, hi.
So fun, so fun. I love the zodiac spread. It's one that, I mean, I haven't really used it a lot, but when I've had people use it for me, so powerful, and just like the full picture it gives is really cool.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it, and definitely the classes are live, so we get to interact with Sophie and Julie, and that's been a wish come true, to be honest, because I see them as other teachers. So
Yeah, very fun. I mean, those face to face, even if it's digital, it's so impactful and so important, and it's great to hear that's happening. Yes, thank you, Corbin. I was just going to pull that up. I am going to toss up my website. For anyone watching, if you are interested in booking a session of your own, head on over to my website. You will find my bookings page. And if you're interested in connecting with your higher self, exploring past lives, this higher guidance is a wonderful way to go. And you can always book that free preliminary consultation as well if you want to just chat about your goals, your experiences, or just learn a little bit more about hypnosis before taking the plunge. But I've also got my other offerings as well, so feel free to head on over to my website and check that out. And I did pull Chris's YouTube here, Call to the Universe. I've got everything linked down below, or at least I should. And so definitely head on over there, hit that subscribe button, check out his content, because it is good stuff. You can also find him over on TikTok as well. Same thing, Call to the Universe. And yeah, I mean, I loved your crypto polls, and we were just talking beforehand. I've been taking a step back from social media, especially TikTok is a little bit of a black hole and not the good kind. So haven't been on there a lot lately, but love your polls, love your stuff. So everyone check Chris out if you haven't already. All right, let me pull it down. All right, so wanted to get in today right away and play a clip for you guys. But before we do, Christian, do you want to give us a little bit of a kind of brief overview of the past life experience that you had, just so that people have kind of a little bit of context for what we're diving into if they didn't see part one?
so it basically revolves about the first time I came to this earth, which I believe was about around the Atlantean times. And it also touches about personally my sexuality, being bisexual, which I've in the past I believe I've been into a women's body and a men's body, and in this lifetime I came as a female body. And it's that journey of being called into this earth because of something happening, most likely doing involving a takeover of the planet, and what has led to present day today of us going through this journey of discovering ourselves and regaining our understanding of who we are and evolving in this present time.
Yeah, well said, well said. And yeah, it was really fascinating stuff. ET connections, off-world stories, Atlantis times, like doesn't get better than that.
Mhm.
I mean, I love all the sessions that I have and all the times and places that we go, but for me, I mean, Atlantis, Lemuria, like those ancient cycles, those epochs, definitely resonate with me. And so it was really cool to explore with you, Christian. So The first clip that I've got to share with you guys was one that I have to juggle my screens when I do the videos here. So give me just a moment to queue it up. Perfect. So the clip is explaining a little bit of one of the characters that showed up in this past life regression, which was a snake called Yakamama. And it was large anaconda, and essentially was a messenger from Gaia, and had called in Christian as well as the others on his team, this scouting team, in order to assist the planet, but then also was warning Christian. So let me play that clip for you guys, because it's really fascinating to hear what that snake looked like and what that interaction was like, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Toss it up here. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear the audio there. It should be good.
I'm just seeing that snake again, the anaconda.
I was curious if there was a connection between that snake and the reptilians.
It's not evil. A protector of the planet. Oh, that zone is not connected to the reptiles. I was trying to warn the lady, the woman, of the dangers of the invaders when they need to protect the planet. He wanted us to come. He called the team in.
Who called you in?
The snake.
And was it acting as, was that a message from the earth, from the Gaia?
Yes, it's connected to Gaia.
So was there communication between the snake and you? Were you able to, was it like telepathic communication, or?
It is telepathic.
Mm.
It's hypnotic through the eyes. It's a combination of eyes, connection, and telepathic knowing. It's a messenger from Gaia.
So, I mean, I always love when, here we go. I always love when hypnosis comes up, even if it's like tangential. But any other context you want to add to that, Christian, from like your experience, what you remember?
Yeah, it definitely touches like the Jungle Book. Yeah, they remember the snake in the Jungle Book that uses his eyes. And yeah, what I saw was yellow eyes. And I think believing that in the movie, the snake has yellow eyes when it's trying to hypnotize the little boy, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely that's what I saw. And there's something else that I just did a video on TikTok about a post that Cliff Hyde did in August 8th called "A Dark Whisper," where he says in the coming months, we're gonna start receiving messages only in the dark, like not in like if you're hearing your own voice, but hearing almost like a child-like voice. And yesterday in Beyond Mystic in their news, they touched upon this and they saw this is Gaia sending us messages. So this is really interesting connecting to us evolving and also it depends on our level of evolution in the woo, how we're gonna receive this and how it's gonna affect us. So I thought it was completely interesting.
Oh, very. And it's, I mean, I love how the same messages or the same themes show up in different places, because Rita and Barry Littleton were doing a show yesterday, and they were talking about uh, telepathic communication and telepathic messages being stronger at night, and how both of them have experienced much stronger communication during the nighttime hours, and especially the witching hour, 1 to 3. And so I love that synchronicity as far as what all these different channels and all these different people are bringing through, right? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, hello Sandy, so good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And Corbin saying, I love that snake is big, divine feminine energy and deeply connected with Gaia. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I definitely, I don't know if we mentioned it right at the start, but for those who didn't watch part 1, haven't heard that story, I definitely encourage you to go check it out, because we played a lot more clips from the session. We talked a lot about some of the other facets of the information that came through. But this idea that the reptilian beings who have definitely gotten snakes a bad rap. I feel like the vilification of the snake archetype is definitely a big theme of the moment, and has been coming up, at least in my life, a lot over the past couple of years, especially. But I feel like we're more and more people are realizing the nuance to it, and recognizing the ways that cutting ourselves off from snake and from that snake energy. I mean, I think it really is a parallel to cutting ourselves off from our own energy, and that Kundalini energy, right? Because snake and is often a depiction of that energy flowing up the spine. Um, what do you think, Christian?
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely agree.
Yes, exactly, Corbin. We're all picking up the same stream of information, just grabbing different details. Absolutely,
Yep.
and I think that's why it's so important to share our experiences, and to be able to have these spaces where we're able to talk and share what we're experiencing, what we understand from what we're picking up, because I think it helps to fill in the gaps, and we each have a different piece of the puzzle, as they say, right?
Yeah, as a collective, we're navigating the woo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, so before we get into more clips, I one of the things that I think is really fun and a great opportunity with talking with someone like you, Christian, who's had a session with me, is that we get to share a little bit about what it's like to be under hypnosis, what it's like to be in a session, what that experience is. If you haven't watched my videos before, or if you haven't heard me talk about this, I say often that hypnosis is a very individual experience. And everyone is going to have a slightly different experience, slightly different take. The way information flows, the way that you feel during the session, it's going to depend on you, and where you're at, and what's best for you. But there are similarities, and there definitely is value in sharing. So, Christian, I would love if you would share a bit about your experience in the hypnosis session. Maybe I'll just leave it there, leave it really open, and you can start wherever you'd like.
So for me in the past, trying to do meditation is I always struggle with visualizing. And I always thought that you would get almost like a holographic or like clear image of stuff. And then later I understood that it's almost like a back of the head image thing. And
Mhm.
so going into the hypnosis, I had my doubts like, how is this going to work? And I have also in the past studied how to do regression as on myself and others, and I didn't wasn't too successful. But then this time with you, Jake, I was super relaxed. It's been years that I've been practicing now tarot and meditation, so I'm more advanced in the matter. And what I felt, it was almost, yeah, there was definitely an energy, and it was definitely in the third eye. There was a lot of pressure in the third eye, so there was a lot of information coming in. And at the beginning, I was like, okay, what's going on? You start asking the questions, but then I did feel like the energy takes over, and it just starts boom. Okay, just start spilling whatever is coming in. And there was moments where you do feel like something's pushing you to say something, or there's heaviness to the information. And there was moments in there where you can see in the video where my chest would rise with a lot of energy, and I would feel this, okay, this burst of energy, like, yeah, you need to say that right now. And overall it was an amazing experience. I did a week before, I did ask Rita what was going to come out of this, and then she did predict the information. I didn't expect that we were going to talk about this. I thought it was going to be more personal about me, but then he was like, no, 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 share this because I believe this is connected to our present time, our community, our soul family.
Mm,
And here we are.
here we are, indeed. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, I love that you brought in um, sort of the difference between meditating and a hypnosis session, because there is crossover, and depending on who you are and how you meditate and how meditation works for you, there certainly can be similarities. But it is a different experience to have someone guiding you through it. Um, and I certainly, when I meditate on my own, uh, I find that it's a little harder to hold a steady stream of thought, or hold a narrative, if that makes sense. Which that's the benefit of having a guide in an
Mhm.
experience like this, right? Because I'm able to be I still I flow with the trance state a little bit, and I definitely am in a slightly altered state when we are in the hypnosis session, but my goal and my job is to be the guide, and so I'm holding on to like, where are we going? I'm following my higher self, my intuition as far as that goes. um I guess, how does the information compare to like card readings or like downloads that you have yourself? Like, was there a difference? I mean, I know you mentioned the visual piece, but anything else you would add to that?
The feeling's almost the same as doing the tarot, to be honest. It's almost like you just have to trust what's coming in. Do not doubt it, just say it. Because once you start doubting, it just all goes away. It's almost like if you're doing an astral, um, going into the astral world, and if you start doubting, you just boop, you go back to your body. So it's all about trusting your intuition and just going with the flow.
100%. And that's one of my biggest pieces of advice for folks before the session and leading up to it is, the more that you can trust and allow the information to flow, the easier it will flow. Because when you get into that critical mind, when you start to analyze or doubt what's coming through, it can be challenging to keep that flow of information going. And that's one of the many reasons that I record my sessions as well. And I give you that recording afterwards, because plenty of time to analyze later, plenty of time to get critical later. You want to have the best experience possible, and going with the flow and allowing that channel to just be open is the way to go. And Corbin's 100%ing us, so he's on board too, because Corbin's had a session with me as well, of course. Um, excuse me.
Oh, I just want to add one last thing. Like,
Mhm.
if you're going to a session like this and you're doubting yourself, just remember that this is a simulation. There's no mistakes. If you are meant to do this, the information that's going to come out is meant to flow.
Well said. Absolutely. And there are, I mean, I've been doing this work long enough, and I also uh, have had enough personal experience to know that there are no coincidences, even in those moments when it feels random or it feels like totally out of the blue. There's no coincidences. And if you feel drawn to something like this, and especially when we're in that session, I mean, the intentions we set, especially when we're connecting with your higher self, the intention is to help you, to assist you, whether that be finding information, getting healing, gaining understanding or insight into your life or your other lives. We always partner with your higher self, and it's a really powerful ally to be working with. And you always get what's going to be most impactful and appropriate for you at the moment, in that time. Uh, it's really cool work. Um, I was curious too. Have you noticed any like increase connection with your higher self since the session, or has meditation been different for you, or card pulls? What's been kind of the development since, if there's been any?
Well, I've been doing so many things since then that I'm not sure what has increased my energy levels of my, touching into the woo.
Mhm.
So yeah, because I'm taking this eye medicine, it's called Sanaga, and it actually allows you to see visions. Also, I did the ayahuasca about 2 weeks ago, ayahuasca trip, and apart from that, doing this third level tarot course. So there's a lot of stuff I'm doing that I can't really pinpoint. Okay, this is actually the one that's.
I get that. I get that.
Mhm.
And that's, I mean, I feel like oftentimes when people come and have a session, it's at a moment of like a lot of change. It's like it's at a moment where either there's been stuff that happens before, or it's the first domino and then there's more dominoes that fall afterwards. I mean, oftentimes it's a piece of that puzzle. Um and I definitely think it's a powerful piece for sure. But there are always, I guess I shouldn't say always, but I definitely think there's lots of different factors that play into our growth at any given moment, right? Um, how was the ayahuasca trip? If you want to share a little bit about that,
This is the yeah. This is the second time I've done ayahuasca with this family from the Amazon. And this one was more of a physical purging, even though I did see there was a message that came through that I think is connected to that lifetime. And also one of the biggest things that happened to me is at night I got a voice that said, "Look up, you're gonna get a signal." And when I looked up into the sky, there was a star that just flew on top. And I almost got these feelings like you're on the correct path, just keep going forward, you don't need any information. And there's some things about the ayahuasca where you might need to do it again and again, and there's some times that you just get a message just like, okay, that's enough, you got what you needed, and let's go forward. Again, connected to Gaia, connected to that feminine, divine feminine spirit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. Um, all right. Well, then I guess the other question that I had kind of post session, I know you've been traveling a decent amount, and traveling was a part of your higher self's message as far as kind of the next steps and the unfolding of your journey here and your incarnation here. Anything stand out in your travels, or any people or any experiences that that you want to share?
Well, for yes, just being weird that ever since I started traveling, most of the people I meet are either witches, warlocks, or other beings, which I think
Mm,
is part of me trying to l- um just build up this knowledge of that, where there's just not there is no just humans in this earth. There's a different kind of variety. One of them especially is a reptilian, which I Sophie actually did tell me in a pool, like, yeah, this guy's a reptilian. He ended up being one of my best friends, and it's also it's weird because we think we have this image that all of them are bad or evil, but it- there's a difference in here where he's not. He's actually the first time being a human in this lifetime. He confirmed it to me that he's seen in visions that he is connected. His grandma
mm,
has told him about powers that he has about in dreams seeing stuff. And yeah, he's mostly connected to nature. And yeah, this is pretty interesting.
very interesting. And yeah, we touched on that last time. That idea that painting with a broad brush any group of beings is going to be inaccurate. I mean, you can look at humans and see the very clearly the distinction. There's some good, there's some bad, there's some ambivalent or barely here, and you see that with other beings as well. And I think that's where obviously discernment comes in when you're dealing with anyone, any beings, any entities, any humans. Use your discernment, listen to that inner knowing and that intuition, because um, you don't want to just like judge right off the bat based on your preconceived notions, right?
Yeah, for sure.
um, right. Corbin saying, Jake, you need to hypnotize this friend. Christian, pass him along. That would be fun. That would be fun. I bet we'd explore some fascinating lives.
Yeah,
um
he's definitely shy and definitely more secluded. And how I noticed first was physically. The eyes were different, the skin was dry, the sun affects him. Sometimes when he got a little angry, he would go, "Arr." So I was like,
mm,
what's going on here? And then later on, Sophie did a session with Sophie, and she told me, yeah, he's not human, right? And I didn't get scared because I never got a weird feeling about him. No, not a scary feeling, but it's extremely interesting. And I do keep his information private because I think it's in the coming years it's gonna be not so easy dealing with in the information that comes out about them and humanity, how they're gonna deal with that.
which I want to get into some of that as far as um, the ET disclosure or the unveiling or there's lots of different words that are used, and I think a lot of different timelines that people are tapping into as far as possibilities of what's coming. Um, so some of the things that came up last time that I wanted to touch on this time was this hive mind concept, because we
Mhm.
talked about the reptilians and your higher self, or you had seen in the past life, this sort of hive mind mentality that they had, and recently I did a session with a friend of mine, and it's a full session that I'm actually going to release next Friday. So I haven't quite scheduled it yet. It's been a busy week, but looking forward to sharing that with all of you. But we dove into AI and we asked a bunch of questions of her higher self around AI, consciousness, awakening. It was really fascinating, the information that came through. One of the facets of this was this hive mind concept in regards to AI and how uh, because I've seen this in my life, just like looking out at the world and the way that people are interacting with this thing, this AI, and the ways that people are losing their individual thought, they're losing their like critical thinking, their creativity, and it's leading to this like I see it as leading to this hive mind mentality. So stay tuned for the full answer from the higher self as far as AI and hive mind goes. But Kristen, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this hive mind development, and what you think about how that fits into kind of like the future that we're moving towards.
So where I connect to this is with the Law of One book, where it talks about this, the either the rapture or the harvesting, the fork in the road, where it kind of predicts that a lot of humans are going to choose this transhumanism path because that's the easy path, and a lot of humans are going to choose, well, no, less humans are going to choose the spiritual path. Both achieve the same thing, which is higher mental capacity, but one is going to lead to this hive mind, this virus, this entrapment. The other one is going to lead to independence and touching more into that feminine energy, the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Say more about that like virus piece, because you were sharing with me before the show a little bit more around that concept. Do you want to share that?
So when I did the ayahuasca retreat, one of the messages that came through was this weird message that said, if the reptiles are behind a Borg mind or a hive mind as a virus, are the humans the antivirus to set them free? And so this is almost like, painting a brighter future if we're in this kind of conflict between this kind of hive mind society and us, that we might be able to actually help them out and liberate some. And this is where I connect with this friend that I made, where he's like, there's some of them that don't want to be connected to whatever that past is and want to evolve. And this is, a brighter future. And if we can manifest this, then, we're going to better places.
I love that, and I really love when people talk about sort of that like retribution or like the villains being able to be saved, because I don't know. Sometimes people talk about like the cutoff date or, oh, choose now or forever hold your peace. And there's just something about that that doesn't sit right with me. This idea of like a cutoff to awakening or a cutoff to the positive timeline where I just, my experiences with the quantum, my experiences with time tell me that that doesn't exist, that that's not a thing. And that, I mean, because we can incarnate here and now, and then we can incarnate in a future life in the past. I mean, there's really no rules or regulations in that regard. I mean, I think there are rules in a sense, but you get my point. um but yeah, this
Yeah.
idea that anyone can change their path, that anyone can turn it around or choose to go a different direction, I think is really important, because um otherwise you're doing that like you're sentencing these beings to doom and destruction just because of the incarnational experience they've chosen to have, which might look negative on the surface to us, but uh serves a purpose for their soul, for the cosmos, for source. I mean, it's all about that information gathering, right?
Yeah, and we live in that kind of division mentality that's been grown here in this planet for so long that's kept us apart. And if we can go into this unified energy, I think this is part of the test of humanity, right?
I think so. I think so. I can't remember who said it or when I heard it, but um it was talking about like uh, the ways that humans other each other, and it's always like them versus us, and there can be this like vilification of the others, um, and someone said like, how do you expect the us to get along with the aliens if we can't even get along with each other, right? And I think that that's part of what we're being called to learn in this moment, is like, how do we work together, um, how do we look past these like surface differences and understand our oneness, understand that connection. And Corbin saying the Borg, I love Star Trek so much. Absolutely.
Mhm.
We love Star Trek. Were we talking about the Borg last time, or
Yeah, I think we touched about
I
it a
think we
little bit.
touched
Yeah.
touched on the Borg. Yeah, yeah. Good stuff. I mean, Star Trek is definitely one of those shows where I think it has its pitfalls for sure, but in a lot of ways it's soft dripping that information to us, helping us to open our minds to more. Um, and I don't know, I've been reflecting a lot on space and like the reality of the space age, or like what's really going on. And I think it's much deeper than we understand at this point, but starting to get more and more, I think, truth coming through. Okay, while we're on the topic of reptilians, before we hop into uh, July, because I wanted to talk a little bit about July and kind of the developments there, let me pop up another clip for you guys, because it connects to the reptilians here. All right.
It's almost like a fairy tale. It's not supposed to be a powerful being defeating them. It's supposed to be a human. It's
Uh,
the hero's story. David and Goliath. They're scared of the humans now. They know how we are upgrading. That's why they are also leaving the planet. But after Earth is cleansed, there's other places that need to be cleansed. That's why the spaceship has to be found. That's the contract.
so I really, um, so the spaceship, super fascinating. For those who haven't watched the part one, go watch part one. It was great. But this idea of both the contract, the soul contract that you had, as well as the sort of the ongoing mission. And um, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. But one of the things that I thought was interesting that came through was this idea that you have a choice. You have the choice to either continue the mission or to choose not to. And I had another session recently. Well, I guess it wasn't that recently because it was earlier in the year, but I was reviewing it recently, and that client also was told very clearly that they had a choice in the mission that they signed up for. They had a choice to continue down this path or not. It was up to them, and that their higher self said that there was backup. Essentially, there was other people um, that had come to do a similar thing, and that if he chose not to, it was okay, that there was others. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that contract and that mission.
So, hmm, yeah, understanding my past, going through regression, past life stuff, with with Sophie and stuff. I've understand I've sacrificed a lot, especially in the romantic side. And so now getting this information is like, okay, you can either continue this for the best of humanity or creation, whatever, or you can take a break. So right now it's like what to do because there's still a lot of more information that has to come through for me to make that decision. It's a lot to wrap your mind around, especially yeah, given all all the trajectory, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes you have to sit down and think of like, okay, what's the greater good, right? And seeing, okay, if I do continue this, how does this evolve? And yeah, it's something that you have to slowly process as more information comes in, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know. I mean, I definitely see. Um, I think you. I mean, it sounds like you have a choice, like from a conscious perspective, like in this incarnation. But then there's also after this incarnation and what you choose to do at that point as well. Because oftentimes when we're here, when we're in our human body, when we're living this life, we might have a different opinion once we're on the other side. And I definitely have heard a lot of clients who like, oh my God, my life is so hard. Like this is such a challenge, and this is in a past life sense. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I never want to come back to Earth again. And then they're back on Earth again. There's definitely a level of perspective that we don't have when we're locked into this human body. And so who knows what you'll end up deciding when you're going on to the next incarnation too.
Yeah, that's true. And it's something I want to practice with astral projection, because I believe going into that fourth, fifth dimension, whatever outside, you do get more of more information, more clear information on why you're doing this. And there was only one time I was able to get out of my body. I got a visitation by two beings. They told me something, but I never understood what they said. And I know that I wasn't supposed to know until a later time. So I know there's instructions, there's a contract, there's a path, and so I have to wait the divine timing for it to come through and understand, okay, this is why.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I've seen that with clients as well, with like missing time, where they've had encounters or they've had experiences where it's not the right moment for them to have that conscious memory. And I had a session once where this client was asking about an experience that they had when they were young. I think they were like a teenager when this happened, and they had been driving along a road late at night. It was like 11 something or maybe after midnight, and they were driving with their friends and blasting music, having a good time. They like turned down this road that they normally like travel down, and there was like this weird fog happening. And suddenly it was like a bunch of time later, they were already at the other end of the road, and they were just kind of like, what? And when we asked about that experience, their higher self was like, not the time, not right now. The time will come for that information to come through and to be shared, but not right now. And it was like, okay, I won't, I tried to, ask it a little bit different, or like, well, they came all this way. Like, can we get them a little bit? Nope, not the time. And the higher self can definitely be firm on that when it's appropriate. And they have that higher perspective. They have that broader perspective of what is going to be helpful or maybe not helpful in a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I really am fascinated to get into, because so one moment. Our air quality is rough today. Like my throat, I woke up and it's just like, oh, terrible. We've had wildfire smoke coming down from Canada on and off for like most of the summer. It's been terrible. Coming down from Canada. Anyway, so July. So when I was rewatching our first part one to this discussion, we were talking about some of the information that a few different sources came up with as far as July looking like a really hot moment for ET developments. And I was reminded by Corbin when we were talking about the astrology of it that Uranus moved into Gemini right at the beginning of July. And that was the last of the outer planets to shift signs, and really built upon that Pluto in Aquarius vibe too. Really like from an astrological perspective, like signaling this sort of a shift and this sort of an energy, a vibe as well. So when I did a little research, a little digging, because I don't know about y'all, but holding on to time and like understanding what happened when and how, I'm having a real hard time. And so I was like, July, I don't even remember what happened in July. I know it was literally last month, but I don't remember. And I realized that 3I Atlas, the comet, or the alleged comet, the comet, was first sighted or identified on July 1st. Literally first day. And then I think they announced it the second. And later on in the month, they got allegedly some photos of it. So definitely interested to hear your thoughts, Christian, and then also to maybe pull some cards on this topic and see what comes through.
Yeah, so the first time I hear about it was through Cliff High's web up data, where he said that we will be hearing about UFO information in July. And it was, yeah, at the end of July, you start seeing a lot of TikTok videos, YouTube videos, people talking about it, and also fear mongering this. And from the esoteric world, from what I've seen beyond Mystic and other like I think yeah, Mason Jupiter, I think they also pulled on this. They're not seeing anything negative. They're not seeing anything positive either. So it's almost like, and I also pulled on it, and I feel like this is gonna be an event that is needed for humanity to evolve. It's almost, I think it's gonna be almost like that we're not alone moment, which
Mhm.
some people are going to take it as a scare, some people are going to take it as a joy. So not bad, not good, just something that needs to happen. So that's my feeling. But like, yeah, we can definitely pull cards on this and see what else the spirit want to tell us about this. So
Yeah,
I'll use the Egyptian tarot and
perfect.
see what message comes through. And yeah, I think we have 2 months. I think it's November when this comes through.
Mm.
Okay. I think for the Whisper in the Dark video I had is this is called the Argonaut. You can see it. And this is my navigating the woo card. Like, so you're in the river and it's dangerous because you have the crocodile here.
Hmm.
So this is us navigating the woo. Second card. Oh, it's the same cards I pulled. The exam. So
Oh
this
my
is an
gosh.
exam for us. And then the last card, purification. Oh wow.
Mm.
So we get purification. So yeah, this is a exam for humanity. It's like, can we handle this? Can we handle that we're not alone in the universe? That even if this is good ETs or bad ETs, this is something that we need to evolve. That's that's pretty interesting.
That is pretty interesting. Yeah. And I had gotten last what was it last year, late last year, I had a session where the higher self shared that we would be having some big shifts in humanity's understanding of ETs this year, and they were talking about specifically those ETs among us, the ones who are here among us, sort of pulling off the mask and then leaving, like going home.
Mm.
And I don't know about you, but I've like more and more, you mentioned seeing the physical differences more and more. Like I'm seeing people, some like big names, some not big names. Just like you look at them and you're like, are you, what's going on with your face,
Mm.
or what's going on with your eyes? Or it's especially the eyes. Like there's something about some people's eyes where I'm like, those don't look like human eyes.
Mhm. Yeah,
And not always in like a threatening or like malicious way. It's more so just like that difference where you're like, oh, interesting. What about you,
right.
Kristen? Have you noticed more of that recently?
Well, with my friend, the first thing I noticed was the eyes. There was something that told me that he's not human. There's something else here.
Hmm.
And also, like, if you look up the whoever created Ethereum, you can see that that guy's definitely not human. And then someone was saying, "Yeah, I'm definitely gonna trust him because he's an alien." So I think it was one of the founders of Future Forecasting Group,
Sure.
Dick Algar. He said, "I'm gonna trust Ethereum because this guy's definitely not human." So he definitely knows something. He's building something for the future.
Oh my gosh, right. And that's again where discernment comes in. Got to have discernment and listen to that inner knowing, because that won't lead you astray. If you follow the crowd, then you might be led astray.
It's not
um,
financial advice.
Not financial advice, exactly. Um, oh, that's a great point, Corbin. Next to the brain, the eyes are the most complex part of the body.
Mhm.
Fascinating. I guess with all the rods and cones, and I mean the way that they formulate our reality is pretty wild, um, when you think about it. Um, so I don't know. Do you think that the Three Eye Atlas is a ship? Do you think like it's like a mothership of some type, or even just like a, maybe not a mothership, but just like a ship?
Well, if we're talking about interstellar travel, it shouldn't be a ship because it shouldn't like they shouldn't be traveling as in a 3D manner from point A to B. Like we kind of understand now that they use black holes or some kind of just manipulating reality to go faster. So
Mhm.
this could be a ship or it could be just a probe. It's just sending it out, right? So
Mhm.
we are still not sure yet. Like from what I've seen, I don't think anyone's 100% sure. I think it's almost deceiving because we're not supposed to know.
Mm. Until the appropriate time. Or, I wouldn't be surprised if there's, you know, there's so much anticipation for that moment, right? Where it comes close enough where we can like get a good glimpse of it, or, it passes as close as it's going to get to the earth. Um, it'll be interesting to see what happens, because I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of like a shadow overlay, or like a, you know, especially like in mass, like is everyone going to see the reality, or is everyone going to understand what they're seeing, or what they're probably not. And I think we've seen in the past the ways that things get obfuscated and slanted, whether it be mainstream or just like the mass coverage of things. And
Mhm.
so it'll be really interesting to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah.
I was curious too. Did you happen to have any? Oh well, I guess your ayahuasca trip would have happened in July, right?
Mhm.
So you saw, well, what looked like a star shooting across, right?
Mhm.
Did you get a sense that that was like a UFO or a ship or star family or something?
No, it's just a
No.
message.
Okay, gotcha. I was just curious if you had any sort of encounters or experiences that were out of the ordinary in July. I was trying to think if I had any, and I couldn't think of anything.
Mm.
Anyway, cool. Um, what time is it? 2:48. All right, we're doing great on time. So I was thinking that I will play the third clip for you guys, because I'm sure this will spark some interesting conversation for sure. And yes, Ken, I think you had said that too, Christian. October, going to be close to Earth on October, or in
Yeah.
October.
And Cliff's highest web update, the highest peak is in November. So whatever happens in October is gonna lead to a lot of people just having either a good emotional high or a bad emotional high in November. So then yeah, that's what he connects it to.
Fascinating. All right, let's listen to this last one.
Half of it is vibration. Higher vibration kills it too. Lower vibration allows them to feast. Everyone's infected. It's part of the many diseases on this planet.
Will that be shifting with the vibration, with the planet's vibration?
Gaia is expelling all types of parasites. It cannot longer live here. The reptiles brought the parasites. Body and mind control. Different layers of mind control. Yeah, through the moon. They were so afraid of us waking up that they put multiple levels of controls on us. Fail safes. They cannot stop the human evolution.
So I realized that that didn't have the most context. Sometimes it's hard to clip the important parts and then keep the information like succinct. But anyway, parasites was what we were talking about, and the parasites in the body. But then the subtitles didn't get it quite right. You said Gaia is expelling lots of parasites, or lots of different types of parasites, and so this topic of parasites has just been a hot topic of late. I feel like most of the people that I have conversation with, it comes up some way or another. And I think, I feel like it's a moment where we are being called to take our power back, to say, not in my body, not in my space, to do those things that that resonate with us, to expel them, to also make our body not a hospitable place for them. And so your higher self was talking about the vibration. You want to elaborate on that a little bit, or share your thoughts on that, the vibratory piece of parasites?
Yeah, I believe like the more that we're going through this dark night of the soul, this human evolution, the more that we purge out all patterns, addictions, the more that we are elevating our body, uh, spiritually, mentally, physically. And not only that, the earth's going through this process. And I believe it's also connected to that, what I was talking about, that whisper in the dark, where we're gonna get more information from Gaia that's allowing us to vibrate higher, purging out whatever information was coming from either the moon or Saturn that was definitely mind fucking with us. And yeah, this is the process for, yeah, this planet for us.
And I really love when when we get more of the nuanced answer, because I think a lot of times the physical aspect of parasites, or of health, is focused on, and it's eat right, and exercise, and do these physical things to make sure that you're not feeding into them, or giving them more of a foothold. But we are so much more than just our physical bodies, and we also have more tools than just our physical bodies. And I think that piece of keeping your vibration high, and Gaia helping to support us in that, is definitely a big piece. And I think just further empowers us, and reminds us that we're not we don't have to just accept it. There's things that we can do on multiple different levels. And of course, we are a part of the collective reality, and that's a part of our existence. But taking our power back, doing what we can do, whether it be like you said, doing the shadow work, shedding addictions, shedding these old patterns, these detrimental patterns. I know I've had just like a very emotional couple of weeks, months, year. I mean, it's been a moment, but especially lately, I think the emotions have been spiking, and it feels like a big purge moment. I don't know. Have you been feeling that purge, Christian?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, since the pandemic, it's been a huge process. And just remember, you're not alone. Like through this, everyone's going through this purge. So
Mm,
don't feel that when you realize that you're not alone, it's easier to get through this because as a collective soul family, we're going to navigate into purging this old and just navigate into a better future.
100%. And the message that I've been getting a lot lately, um, has been to ask for support, and to accept the support. And I think for a lot of us, we are used to doing it alone. Whether you have felt like a black sheep or a rainbow sheep, or whatever it might be, that kind of outsider experience is the reality for a lot of us, for a lot of our lives. And I think, I mean, at least I've seen a shift in the community, and in um, I mean, whether it be physical, but especially the digital, and the ways that we've been able to connect with like-minded folks, and to receive that support. I just think it's really important to remember that you don't have to do it alone. I know for myself, it's sometimes a pride thing where my ego is like, oh, but like you should be able to handle it. You should, it's not that big of a deal. And then the deeper part of me reminds me, hey, this isn't some sort of like competition, or
Mm.
prove yourself that you can handle it on your own. Like, you can ask for support, you can accept that support, especially when we're dealing with these sorts of big things. I think it's really important to call that out for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Christian, let me check my notes and see if there's anything else that um, oh, I guess the last piece I'll mention on the parasites side of things was, um, one of the things that I've been reminded of lately, is that the parasites, they influence your mind, they influence your body, your impulses, and it can be much harder to shake addiction or to change patterns when those parasites are in full bloom and doing their thing, because they want that junk food, they want that, drugs, they want that, whatever it might be, lower vibration stuff in your life, because that's the environment that they prefer. And so the more that you are conscious of and are, addressing the real problem, it helps to make some of those shifts and new choices easier. And I definitely have noticed that in my life, as I've taken care of my body more, it like becomes easier to take care of my body. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing.
Yep.
Any last thoughts from you, Christian, on your session, on the hypnosis experience, on the topics we've covered today? Anything that you want to share?
I think we can pull a couple of cards for a message for our community regarding whatever we talked about, what
I love
Spirit
it.
wants to say.
Let's do it.
Okay. 3 wands in the past. 8 of cups and for the middle. And 4 of wands in the future. So yeah, we're leaving the past. Emotions, hurtful, whatever was holding us back on our journey to find that 9th cup, leaving past emotions behind, going through a portal energy. So we're moving. This is a transformation that we're going through. It's not easy. We know this is heavy in the past, but the future is bright. Yellow, marriage, that fun energy. So, but yeah, this is their dark night of the soul. We're going through this moment. It's not easy, but it's that exam phase. Can we pass that exam as a community? Can we evolve?
And I think we can.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Wonderful stuff. I'll pull up Christian's. Pull up our stuff once more. Oh my gosh, I have too many windows open. There we go. All right. So a reminder, head on over to YouTube, A Call to the Universe, to find Chris, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell so you are notified when he posts. Definitely also check him out on TikTok if you are over there, because Lord knows you need all the good, positive, and uplifting content on that platform, because it's a wild west out there. If you want to know more about my services, my practice, if you are interested in chatting with your own higher self or exploring your own past lives, head on over to my website. If you click on that booking tab, you can find all of my offerings here. We can, of course, do a free consultation to chat over your goals, talk a little bit more about the process, answer any questions you might have, and then hit that higher guidance session if you want to connect with your higher self or any of my other offerings, because hypnosis is really quite the powerful tool, and there's a reason that I do this work. There's nothing like it, in my opinion, and I think that it's one of those tools that we're being called to use more and more, because it's helping us to get out of this 3D reality and expand our consciousness, expand our awareness, and working with more of the aspects of our soul, more of the collective, working with source more deliberately, and it's really cool stuff. So, Christian, thank you so much for joining us again, and this was a wonderful show. As always, fun to chat about this stuff and to be able to share clips and share experiences, because there's nothing like it, like I said.
No.
Any final words before we go?
No, not really. Thanks for the time. Thanks for having me over, and we'll have to do it another time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Bye, y'all. Good to see you.
Bye.